Shabbat Shalom. Good to be with all of you. Nice to be together tonight. This has been a difficult week for the country, for us, I suspect, all of us, as we've watched events unfold. This week we also begin a new Torah, book of the Torah portion, but the first portion in the book of Exodus, which in Hebrew is Shemot. Shemot is a word which means names. And as I was, because they start with an enumeration as to who is in Egypt following Joseph's death and the generations that were there, such that Moses comes along, and they're enumerating the community. And so it speaks of names, but it gives us an opportunity to reflect on, as we prepare for the Exodus and are moving towards the land of promise, the promised land, the central metaphor for what's called redemption theology. And it became part of the American ethos too, as we settled in this land of promise. And so it is that on the back of the dollar bill, there's a pyramid with the eye of God in it. That resonant image from the book of Shemot comes through. And so as we're reflecting on the general theme of the book of Exodus as a movement from a place of great constriction, which is what Mitzrayim, the Hebrew for Egypt, actually means, and moving towards a place that is of promise and potential and a better place, gave me a thought about the country generally and how we think of our nation and how we describe it and speak of it and what we call it and call ourselves. And so I want to share this evening, in addition to the beautiful music that will define our services. This is our musical Kabbalat Shabbat tonight. And so we're grateful to Molly and to Don and to those who will be bringing us music. I also want to add poetry. So I begin with a poem that's in the public domain. It's entitled A Nation's Strength. What makes a nation's pillars high and its foundations strong? What makes it mighty to defy the foes that round it throng? It is not gold, its kingdoms grand go down in battle shock. Its shafts are laid on sinking sand, not on abiding rock. Is it the sword? Ask the red dust of empires passed away. The blood has turned their stones to rust, their glory to decay. And is it pride? Ah, that bright crown has seemed to nations sweet, but God has struck its luster down in ashes at their feet. Not gold, but only we can make a people great and strong, citizens who for truth and honor's sake stand fast and suffer long, brave and faithful people who work while others sleep, who dare while others fly. They build a nation's pillars deep and lift them to the sky. Our service this evening is intended to be as aspirational as it is inspirational. And though through music and poetry, we seek to reflect upon and to rededicate ourselves to our faith in democracy and in the responsibility we each possess to preserve and to safeguard it. We continue with Hine Matov on page 10 in our prayer books, a celebration of what it means to gather together.
Hine grab your family. Family.
Family has been grabbed.
No, don't hold him while he's holding fire, please.
Yes, that would be preferable.
Let's get in. That's really dinky fire. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom. Will you join me as we welcome the Shabbat angels? Shalom Alechem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzedchem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
So I want to share with you a first poem, a second poem actually. We began with one, did we not? This one is called America, Land of Opportunity. America is not perfect, that we know, but it is ours, and it has been for nearly 2.5 centuries the dream of freedom across the world. We must keep it so. Our streets have never been paved with gold, and they never will be. But America should ever stand as a land of opportunity and enthusiasm and riches. The riches that we prize are not only raw materials, armies, navies, ships, and cities, but a whole people loyal to its own flag and our beautiful continent and full of goodwill towards one another and the world. We must look across our country and around the whole world to find allies in building a world of equal opportunity for all classes and all races. But we cannot establish democracy in faraway places if in our own house, if here in our own country and in our capital, our conduct does not square with the slogans and spirit of our sacred democracy. And so, let it be our daily practice to help one another, and let us keep our eyes open to know and guard not only our own advantage, but the common interests of every citizen in justice and peace. And now, newly aware of how precious and precarious is democracy, let us be grateful to God for our blessings, and let us hold fast to our ideals, and let us come together in common purpose to fulfill our people's potential and to realize our nation's promise. Let us lift our eyes to the hills of vision, for as our rabbis taught, where there is no vision, the people perish.
Beginning with the Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat, we're going to take a little bit of time to focus on each one, beginning with Asher Lo Hayam from Psalm 95 on page 12. Asher Lo Hayam Vehu Asahu Asher Lo Hayam Vehu Asahu Veyalbesh et Yadav Yad Saru Veyalbesh et Yadav Yad Saru Asher Lo Hayam Vehu Asahu Asher Lo Hayam Vehu Asahu Veyalbesh et Yadav Yad Saru Veyalbesh et Yadav Yad Saru Asher Lo Hayam Vehu Asahu Asher Lo Hayam Vehu Asahu Veyalbesh et Yadav Yad Saru Veyalbesh et Yadav Yad Saru. From Psalm 96, Yismachu Hashamayim. The heavens have happiness, the heavens rejoice. Yismachu Hashamayim, Yismachu Hashamayim, Yismachu Hashamayim, Betagel Haaretz, Yismachu Hashamayim, Yismachu Hashamayim, Yismachu Hashamayim, Betagel Haaretz, Hiram Hayam, Hiram Hayam, Hiram Hayam Umelo'o, 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 Yismachu Hashamayim, Yismachu Hashamayim, Yismachu Hashamayim, Betagel Haaretz.
This poem is entitled, What America Shall Strive For. Let America be first, not merely in matters material, but in things of the spirit. Not merely in science, inventions, motors, and skyscrapers, but also in ideals, principles, character. Not merely in the calm assertion of rights, but in the glad assumption of responsibility. Let her not flaunt her strength as a giant, but bend it in helpfulness over a sick and wounded world. Let her live not in splendid isolation, but in courageous cooperation, not in pride, arrogance, and disdain of other races and people, but in sympathy, love, and understanding. Not in treading again in the old, worn, bloody pathway, which ends inevitably in chaos and disaster, but in blazing new trails along which, please God, other nations will follow into the New Jerusalem, where strife and wars among countrymen shall be no more.
Or zaru ala tzaddik. Light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright. Or zaru ala tzaddik. Or zaru ala tzaddik. Uli Yisraelev, Uli Yisraelev, Uli Yisraelev simcha. Or zaru ala tzaddik. Or zaru ala tzaddik. Uli Yisraelev, Uli Yisraelev, Uli Yisraelev simcha. Or zaru ala tzaddik. Or zaru ala tzaddik. Uli Yisraelev, Uli Yisraelev, Uli Yisraelev simcha. Or zaru ala tzaddik. Or zaru ala tzaddik. Uli Yisraelev, Uli Yisraelev, Uli Yisraelev simcha. Continuing on page 16 with Psalm 98 in the middle. In the top of the page, the middle of the psalm.
This poem is entitled Rededication for America. We Americans are heirs to a rich estate. We deemed it ours alone when other peoples lived far beyond our ken. But now they live at our door. Their cries of pain and want give us no rest. In a world that is one, there is but one fate for all people. Though a nation's bounds may keep out the victims of war, none can keep out its hatreds and miseries. None can prevent it from setting all the world aflame. Once we looked westward and inward for the American future. Hereafter, we may look all about us. For we are members of one global family and share the lot of every clime and people. Once we thought our unstable horizon would stiffen into fixity. Now we behold it expanding till it includes all the world within its limits. Be it therefore our ambition to bring peace to this racked, agonized, exhausted nation and planet, to set ourselves upon a path that shall point towards justice and progress. Let us make of the sense of comradeship which we seek to foster among the many races and creeds that inhabit our land, the bond to unite all nations. Let all the world heed the law of God that decrees that the many shall be one. Forget not, O America, that humanity with all its fears, with all its hopes of future years, is hanging breathless on thy fate.
On page 17 in Romamu, would you please join me? Of course, I love when you sing all with me. I enjoy when you banter on key, which is when I have a chance to breathe. I mentioned last time that perhaps we are involved both exalting and bowing down, exalting to God and bowing down to God. We're involved in probably the first biblical instance of a wave. So please join me in Romamu. Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romamu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romamu. Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romamu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romamu. Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho.
Last two lines on page 19. Adonai grant strength to God's people. May Adonai bestow upon God's people well-being. Adonai oz le'amo yitein. Adonai yevarech et amo. Adonai oz le'amo yitein. Adonai yevarech et amo. having made our way through the 6 Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat, representing the 6 days of the week that we make our way through in order to get to the beauty that is Shabbat, represented like a bride in Lecha Dodi. Here we are on page 20 for Lecha Dodi, and we're going to do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. But I want to look at, very, very briefly for just a moment, verse 6. And the second half, you have dwelt long enough in the valley of tears, now God will shower mercy on you. And I am looking at the way that Yachamol and Chemla, which both mean mercy, but one is a noun and one is a verb, should inspire us to verb the word mercy, to act with mercy, but to mercy, and to be that type of person as we go into Shabbat with Lecha Dodi. So we want to try a little fun game to engage with everybody. And I want everyone to think of something, 1 or 2 words that you're grateful for just from the beginning of this year. You might need to dig deep, but I want you to think of 1 or 2 words to describe that thing. But wait, I want you to type that thing, but don't hit enter yet. So type 1 or 2 words, don't hit enter yet. And once we all hit enter, there will be a chatterfall of gratitude. Is everybody typing? Yeah? All right. Let's see a chatterfall of gratitude. Go.
Nice.
And you should know, if you'd like to save this chat and have a list of all these things to be grateful for, near where you put in your post, there's a ... that should allow you to save the chat for later and just be inspired by all these wonderful things to be grateful for.
The Psalm for Shabbat on page 22. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. It's good to give thanks to God. Mizmor shir layom haShabbat. Mizmor shir layom haShabbat. Mizmor shir layom haShabbat. Mizmor shir layom haShabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת. מזמור שיר ליום השבת. מזמור שיר ליום השבת. מזמור שיר ליום השבת. טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון.
We prepare for Misha Berach, our prayer of healing, hope, renewal, and peace. I want to share with you the prayer for our country, written by Rabbi Ayelet Cohen, but edited by our own Rabbi Henry. You may have had an opportunity to familiarize yourself with this or shared earlier in the day. It was sent out via Shalomogram. It's obviously for the country, it's for all of its citizenry as well. Our God and God of our ancestors, bless this country and all who dwell within it. Help us to experience the blessings of our lives and circumstances, to be vigilant, compassionate, and brave. Strengthen us when we are afraid. Help us to channel our anger so that it motivates us to action. Help us to feel our fear so that we do not become numb. Help us to be generous with others so that we might raise each other up. Help us to be humble in our fear, knowing that it is our holy work to stand alongside the most vulnerable among us. Help us to heal and nourish our democracy, that it may be like a tree planted by the water whose roots reach down to the stream. It need not fear drought when it comes. Its leaves are always green. Source of all life, guide our leaders with righteousness. Strengthen their hearts, but keep them from hardening, that they may use their influence and their authority to speak truth and to act for justice. May all who dwell in this country share in its bounty, enjoy its freedoms, and be protected by its laws. May this nation use its power and wealth to be a voice for justice, peace, and equality for all who dwell on earth. May we be strong and have courage to be bold in our action and deep in our compassion, to discern when we must listen and when we must act, to uproot bigotry, intolerance, misogyny, racism, discrimination, and violence in all its forms, to celebrate the many faces of God reflected in the wondrous diversity of humanity. May justice well up as waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. As we hold our country and our populace entire in our hearts, so do we lift up the following names, and I invite you to share any names you wish to have me read aloud. You might add them in the chat. As we prepare for Misha Barach, we are thinking of Julie Arnheim, Rabbi Marcy Bellows, Millard Balloon, Alex Botkin, Howard Bregman, Alfred Brown, Brenda Buch, Olivia Burton, Fran Conway, Charlotte Cornwell, Debbie Duncan, Jacob Eisenfeld, Marcia Gross, Donovan Hughes, Caleb Johnson, Nahum Kaplan, Kenneth Karsh, Sylvia Kasparovsky, Lee Kramer, Judith Levison, Ann Mallinger, Chava Bela Batsara, Miriam Bat Miriam, Lev Podorovsky, Ann Kovalan Santoni, Joan Shear, Jackie Student, Joan Weiss, Doreen Zisla. As well, we add the names Kathy Garris and Peggy Kelly, Dee McNeil, Pat Smith, Drew McQuiston Starrett, Pearl Haber, Steve Woods, Sam Spitz, Helen Goodman, Hinda Sara Batchana Perel, Joel Berg, and Jimmy Weezer. We join together in the Misha Barach.
Misha Barach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
The longest poem I want to share with you this evening is by Langston Hughes. It's entitled, Let America Be America Again. Just a nice resonance. Let America be America again. Let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plain, seeking a home where he himself is free. America never was America to me. Let America be the dream the dreamers dreamed. Let it be that great, strong land of love, where never kings connive nor tyrants scheme, that any man be crushed by one above. It never was America to me. Oh, let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath, but opportunity is real and life is free. Equality is in the air we breathe. There's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free. Say, who are you that mumbles in the dark? And who are you that draws your veil across the stars? I am the poor white, fooled and pushed apart. I am the Negro bearing slavery's scars. I am the red man driven from the land. I am the immigrant clutching the hope I seek and finding only the same old stupid plan of dog eat dog, of mighty crush the weak. I am the young man full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient endless chain of profit, power, gain, of grab the land, of grab the gold, of grab the ways of satisfying need, of work the men, of take the pay, of owning everything of one's own greed. I am the farmer, bondsman to the soil. I am the worker sold to the machine. I am the Negro servant to you all. I am the people humble, hungry, mean, hungry yet today despite the dream. Beaten yet today, O pioneers. I am the man who never got ahead, the poorest worker bartered through the years. Yet I'm the one who dreamt our basic dream in the old world while still a serf of kings, who dreamt a dream so strong, so brave, so true, that even yet its mighty daring sings in every brick and stone, in every furrow turned, that's made America the land it has become. Oh, I'm the man who sailed those early seas in search of what I meant to be my home. For I'm the one who left dark Ireland's shore and Poland's plain and England's grassy lea, and torn from black Africa's strand I came to build a homeland of the free. The free? Who said the free? Not me. Surely not me. The millions on relief today, the millions shut down when we strike, the millions who have nothing for our pay, for all the dreams we've dreamed and all the songs we've sung, and all the hopes we've held and all the flags we've hung, the millions who have nothing for our pay, except a dream that's almost dead today. Oh, let America be America again, the land that never has been yet, and yet must be, the land where every man is free, the land that's mine, the poor man's, Indians, Negroes, me, who made America, whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain, must bring back our mighty dream again. Sure, call me any ugly name you choose. The steel of freedom does not stain. From those who live like leeches on the people's lives, we must take back our land again, America. Oh yes, I say it plain. America never was America to me, and yet I swear this oath, America will be. Out of the rack and ruin of our gangster death, the rape and rot of graft and stealth and lies, we the people must redeem the land, the mines, the plants, the rivers, the mountains, and the endless plain, all the stretch of these great green states, and make America, America again. Continue with a prayer for peace. Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim le'olam. 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 'Ki ata hu melech adon, 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 mel עמך ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה, בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. 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 תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
We come now to the Kaddish, as we turn our thoughts to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones and those whom friends and neighbors have lost, those of our own family at this time in seasons past, and those taken from our midst but not our hearts in these most recent days. I'll share the names of those of whom we are aware and invite you, should you wish to add your names into the chat. I'll read those aloud. We think now of those taken from us in these most recent days: Jeff Brock, Kathy Devine, Perry Holloman, Carol Howes, Kenneth Josselson, Yvette Catlin, Patty Lando, and Florence Wise. And we remember with Yahrzeit, Cecile Apter, Tessie Binstock, Elaine R. Cohen, Helen Fingold, Morris Haber, Bernice and Marvin Herzog, Evelyn Kahn, Zita Levin, Esther Palkovitz, Essie Shore, Sharon Silnutzer, and Alex Zelensky. We add the following names as well: Lucille Seehofer, Leo Breda, Lillian Adlow Friedberg, Tommy Lasorda, David Linton, Ephraim Schwartz, Marjorie Marks. If you're able, and as it may be your tradition, I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we share the ancient hallowed words of Kaddish. Yitkadal, Vyitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'alma Divra Chirute, V'amlich Malchute, B'chayechon Uvyomechon, V'chayedecho Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala V'zman Kariv, V'imru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach, Le'olam Almei Almaya. Yitvarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitramam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shmei Dekudsha, Brichu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu, v'kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'asei shalom aleinu, v'kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. May the one who creates peace on high bring peace to all of us, all Israel, all the world. We say together, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Olivia here with some announcements. As always, all of the information for these events, links and more details can be found in the Monday morning Shalomogram and service details in the Friday morning email. We also have the Shalomograms and Friday morning emails on our website. If you go to our website, redufshalom.org, and click on the button that says News, you'll find Shalomograms going back for years. But probably only the most recent ones will be helpful. So just two places for you to look for these things and share the information to friends and people you know would be interested in them as well. If you're not receiving the emails or you have questions or anything, you can email me, tucker@rodefshalom.org, and we'll get you on the list. Tomorrow morning, we are joining again at 10:30. Watch out, next Shabbat, we are celebrating with our bar mitzvah, Sam Kamen. So that's next weekend, but tomorrow is our usual Shabbat morning. If you're up a little earlier, Rabbi Henry is doing Torah study at 9:15 on the Parsha this week, which is Shemot. Classrooms Without Borders is a group which we sponsor, and their events are always coming. They've got documentaries and lectures and tours. Big news, Primo Levi, his work and his songs work is going to be a recurring series, a meeting on January 14th, as well as a series on social and racial justice works on Wednesday. So all events on that, check out classroomswithoutborders.org/events for more details there. We have been invited by our friend congregant Dor Hadash to attend a discussion on the Supreme Court, especially religion and free speech, with a local lawyer, John Pushinsky. Note, this is not this Sunday, but rather next Sunday, the 17th, but you do need to register if you're interested by Thursday so that you can have the links there. And I'll post the link to where to register in the chat so you have that, and it'll be in Monday's Shalomogram. So just a little time there. Okay, this is what I'm really excited to bring this announcement to you. Those who have hung out in our Zoom Onegs, which is after our service here, we come off mute and Tevet, will know that I've been baking challahs, which are related to the Parsha. And Cashier Pittsburgh, Sarah Stockmail, Kasher Halev Fife, reached out to see if I'd want to do a Jewish baking series together. So we've built a whole Jewish baking series. We're calling it Nourishing the Neshama. And it's going to be once a month through May, focusing on the nearby holiday, this holiday being Shabbat. But check out for Hamantashen and Pesach baking and babka and even cheesecake when we get to Shavuot. So it's $18 per session, or a discounted rate of $72 for all 5. If you are going to miss one, they'll be recorded and you'll be given that. So if you're registering late, you'll still have all of these events recorded for you. And a portion of the proceeds will be donated to the food distribution run by Ratzon, the Center for Healing and Resistance, which you can learn more about at their website, Ratzon PGH. So check this out at our website, rodefshalom.org/Jewish baking. I hope to see you there. We'll talk about inspired braiding. All challahs are beautiful, and we hope to see you there. Okay. I turn it over to our president, Karen Breen, for announcements from the board. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you very much for that, Olivia. I want to give a big thank you to the worship team for a really beautiful and soul-lifting service. It's not lost on me that we have a lot of faces joining us tonight. I think lots of us are seeking the connection and the kind of service that we had this evening. So thank you to Rabbi Bisno, to Molly May, to Don McGahan. It's deeply appreciated. We've been talking, I've been talking a lot to you about connections and how we are trying to strengthen connections. We had some discussions at the board level about membership and about our members and the care and feeding of our members. And one of the things that we've thought about is strengthening the onboarding. People actually have joined us in the pandemic, and we're so pleased that they have. And we haven't had, although we greet people often with a box or a letter, we haven't had a sort of human connection. If we were in services at the building, it might be an opportunity to say to a new member, why don't you come meet me at services and come with me to the Oneg after and meet others. But I think there are other ways, even virtually, that we can connect. So if you're interested in being part of a cadre of congregants who help meet new members and give some TLC to people who've been with us for a while, I hope you'll reach out to me or to Kristen Karsh, our membership director. And we also know that it's time to have a new membership directory. We're going to go both low tech and high tech. We're going to have a version that you can get to on your phone. And remember that little blue notebook we used to have where you could just get a printout and you could 3-hole punch it, put it in your notebook. We're going to go that route as well. So for those of you who want a little notebook, you can get one. And for those who want to see it on your phone, you'll be able to do that. So look for more information about that coming soon. So with that, I just want to say Shabbat Shalom and thank you for being part of the Bird of community. Take care.
Shabbat Shalom. Thanks, Karen.
All right, we turn to page 5 for the Kiddush for Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh bereshit, ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amin, shabar kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. So I lift up my relatively ordinary but still delicious challah.
It's beautiful.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen. And let me conclude with a poem as a benediction, and then we'll invite everyone to unmute and we'll have a bit of Oneg Shabbat with each other. This poem is entitled, The Land Where Hate Should Die. This is the land where hate should die. No feuds of faith, no spleen of race, no darkly brooding fear should try beneath our flag to find a place. Lo, every people here has sent its sons and daughters to answer freedom's call. Their lifeblood is the strong cement that builds and binds the nation's wall. This is the land where hate should die. Though dear to me my faith enshrine, I serve my country well when I respect beliefs that are not mine. He little loves his land who'd cast upon his neighbor's word a doubt, or cite the wrongs of ages past from present rights to bar him out. This is the land where hate should die. This is the land where strife should cease, where foul, suspicious fear should fly before our flag of light and peace. Then let us purge from poisoned thought that service to the state we give, and so be worthy as we ought of this great land